What's up? Happy Tuesday, guys. Welcome on into Let's Bet It Taco Tuesday. Lauren Jabbar here with Mark Zinno, Alex Glaze. Guys, some news as of 26 minutes ago. Tom Brady officially announced his retirement on his Instagram with a really nice note. I just read through the whole thing. Alex, your thoughts on it? Congratulations, first of all, to Tom Brady.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, greatest quarterback of all time. A guy that, as a Ravens fan, I found myself a little bit conflicted because, for I would say most of his career, did not like the guy. Obviously, as a Patriots quarterback. But then I feel like in the later years, like I think after that 2018 AFC Championship game when he posted that Instagram video with Gronk doing the Bad Boys for Life thing, I
Mhm.
watched it and I loved it, and I was just that's kind of was when things turned for me. I'm like, is this guy likable? And then Brady over the past couple years has just become this really likable dude on social media. You see him doing the commercials, the videos. I mean, went down to Tampa Bay and just you really got to see his personality. I think I don't know, just it seemed like a great guy. So now I feel like I don't know, a big loss in the football community. But I think the league is in great hands though as we watch these quarterbacks play for the past couple of weeks.
Yeah, Zeno, your thoughts. Tom Brady, it's officially done. I mean,
Yeah.
I look at this like this is sorry, the ring light, but he's done. He's
Yep, there
done,
it is.
baby.
There it
That's
is.
it.
I mean,
Did you read all that? Did you guys read the whole post? Or
I
did
I
yeah,
skimmed. I'm gonna take some time after the show to actually sit down and read, but I didn't see it until we
I
were
saw
like
the video and then I saw the second slide. I was like, okay, I know what this is, and I just liked it. I was like, okay.
yeah. I mean, here's the thing. In the big picture, one, I think Tom Brady, and I think we said this over the weekend, was very, very upset about taking away from Championship Sunday. I think he had every intention of announcing his retirement today on Tuesday after Championship weekend because you have the whole week off before the Super Bowl and everything ramps up. I think Tom's got a great respect for the game and all of his peers in the game that he wouldn't want to detract from Championship Sunday with his own personal retirement news. So I kind of think that's why this whole thing went down the way it did. But as I was telling you guys before we hit the air, Tom Brady is the one athlete that isn't on a team that I love that I've cheered for my entire career. There's only two times I've cheered against him, Super Bowl 42 and Super Bowl 46, and it worked out in my favor. Other than that, I've rooted for Tom Brady to win every single time. It's the strangest thing in the world. He's the most likable athlete. And the only reason you don't like him is because he's torturing your team.
Yes.
That's literally it. And if you don't have a dog in that fight, then guess what? It's always been great for me to watch Tom Brady play, to root him on, to hope he wins and hope he succeeds. And I just call myself lucky and fortunate enough to watch the greatest quarterback to ever play do it right in front of my eyes for his entire career.
It really is incredible that we've had the opportunity to be able to experience Tom Brady and everything that he's about, both on and off the field. Also, Michigan Wolverines, you love to see that
Oh,
too.
there we go.
But
There we
Tom
go.
Brady, GOAT,
Yeah.
greatest of all time, baby. And he's retiring. Congratulations to him and his family. They get to spend a lot more time together now. But what a legacy, man, that he left in the NFL and just in the world in general. It's pretty incredible. And I know there's a lot of great quarterbacks, but he's the GOAT. So congratulations, Tom Brady, officially retired. Enjoy it, man. Go have a beer because he definitely deserves that.
We know he loves a couple beers. We know that.
It's probably avocado flavored or something like that, according to the TB12 method.
It's so funny. Oh, man. All right, lots to get to today. NBA futures. We're going to talk a little bit about some teams on the cusp right now of the playoff race. If they're going to make the playoffs, if they're not, we'll give our take on NBA futures and what we think is going to happen there. College basketball predictions. Quite a few games today. I think between the three of us, we're on like 6 or so games tonight. So we'll give you our best bets for that. NHL Ice Picks. Also some really hot games, including one, guys, at MSG that I know our producer Jack is very
Hmm.
much looking forward to. I think he's actually going to be there in person tonight to watch the Ice Cats take on the Rangers. We're going to break that down, and then we can't end without our Pickswise play of the day and our 3-star plays of the day. So, without further ado, guys, let's get into it. Let's bet it. NBA futures. So, let's discuss these to make the playoffs, and if you're leaning yes or no for some of these teams. So, Zeno, I'm going to start with you first. Celtics to make the playoffs. Yes, right now is at minus 150. No is at plus 120. Right now they're sitting at ninth in the Eastern Conference at 27 and 25.
Well, considering you get 10 teams to actually make the postseason, 7 through 10 will do that playing game thing. I would say yes, they do it. I mean, it's not a wager I'd put a lot of confidence on. I just don't see the reason. But this is still a talented team and a well coached team, enough for me to back them to at least make the postseason between 7 and 10 in the Eastern Conference.
You- Alex, what do you think about the Celtics?
Well, I need some clarification here because we're talking make the playoffs. Does the play-in tournament count as the playoffs? Because they do the play-in tournament, and then I think it's
Yeah,
the
what
playoffs.
is that considered the postseason?
I mean, anything more than the one game wild card is, right? I mean, why
But
wouldn't it
no,
be?
what I'm saying is like when they're saying like when your book is asking to make the playoffs,
Okay, you have to be clear on whether it's one.
you gotta read the fine print there because postseason play-in tournament might not count as playoffs. Those 8 teams in the playoffs. So I would definitely make sure to check on that because I'm not even real. I thought the question was those 8 teams in the playoffs, but it doesn't really change my answer. My answer would be yes for the Celtics.
Yes.
And it's mostly just because I look at their remaining schedule and 1/3 of their games that they have left are against the 4 worst teams in the East and 2 of the 3 worst teams in the West. So not really doing a whole lot of a deep dive there. I mean, I think the odds are in their favor. They're already in a pretty good spot. And this is a Celtics team that, outside of Jason Tatum, it's not great, but they haven't been healthy. They're still trying to figure some things out. And I think that their schedule is going to allow them to get things rolling and get that momentum going as they look toward the postseason, maybe the playoffs, hopefully the playoffs.
Yeah, I actually totally agree with Alex, and my answer is also yes at -150. Their remaining schedule not the toughest, and I think this is a league of runs, right? You get a little run going, and momentum can change for your team. I mean, you look at what just happened to the Atlanta Hawks, where they were down a lot, and now they went on a 7-game win streak. Yeah, they lost last night to the Raptors, but at the same time, they're almost back to 500, and they're 10th right now in the Eastern Conference. So it's a league of runs. You get a little run going, you get a little confidence going for your team. I think the Celtics are going to be able to pull it out and be one of those 8 teams in the postseason. Raptors. This one actually surprised me because yes, right now is at +160 and no is at -200, but they're sitting right now at 8th at 25 and 23. I kind of like them to make the postseason. And I watched them play last night. Obviously, they played the Atlanta Hawks last night. I think there's good value here for Raptors team. Alex, do you kind of agree with me on this in this spot?
Yeah, I would lean yes, like you just said, just based on the value at +160. They're right in the thick of this in 8th place. But the big thing for me, I think the Raptors, they have to make a move before the trade deadline. And I think we're going to find out over the next couple of days what kind of team Masai Ujiri thinks he has, whether, they're going to buy or sell. And, they're coming out and saying that they could be big buyers, and they can. They own all of their first round picks or future first picks and most of their future seconds. So they could be big buyers here. I'm just interested to see what they do at the trade deadline. But right now, I think the value is on yes.
Yeah. And Zeno, do you kind of agree too? Or do you feel
Yeah,
like
no, I mean, this is a good defensive team, and that kind of is what allows me to back them. Just because as you get later in the season and games get more important, defense always seems to ramp up as it does in the playoffs.
Mhm.
So if that's part of their strength, it's not a bad decision to back them to make the postseason.
Yeah. A team like the Timberwolves, let's take it to the West for a second because yes is at -215. No right now is at +170. I think that they will. They're playing really, really well. Carl Anthony Towns is going to be leading them there. Right now, they're 7th in the West at 500, 25 and 25. But is there enough value there, -215, to be able to bet a future like that, Alex?
I probably wouldn't play it. I don't think there's a ton of value there. I do think that the Timberwolves make the playoffs. When you look at kind of what has happened to the Timberwolves this season, I mean, they're playing really well when they're healthy. The problem is they just
Yeah.
haven't really been healthy all at the same time for the most part of this year between injuries and COVID protocols and all that stuff. Uh, they really haven't had many games where they have their full arsenal. And when they have, they can play, I think, with anybody. I mean, over the past couple of weeks, they were playing with the Warriors, the Suns, the Grizzlies. Those are some of the elite teams in the league. So I would say they can make the playoffs, but I don't think there's any value there for me to put a bet on it.
Yeah, and you look at a team like the Blazers, yes, right now is at +400. No is at -600. There's 9 games right now under 500. They're sitting at 10th in the West. I don't think that they're going to make the postseason, the Blazers, but there's really no value in betting it when it's at -600, right? The juice just ain't worth the squeeze.
No, but I mean, here's the thing about a team like Portland making the playoffs. Why I think they'll do it. Obviously, one, you
You
have a
think they
star.
will? You
You
think
have
they
a
will?
star. Well, because it's almost not a bet on the Blazers. It's a bet against everybody else who's there. It's a bet against the
Mhm.
Spurs, against the Pelicans, against the Kings, against the Thunder and the Rockets. Like these teams are not competitive, and they don't even have the level of star that Portland has in Dame Lillard. right? I mean, Dame will just you trust him enough to take over down the stretch. Again, assuming we're going 7 through 10 is making the postseason, that play in
Yeah.
tournament. I think that they will end up between 7 and 10 somewhere because I just don't think any of those other teams actually have anybody that I would trust to start to elevate them to a point where they would overtake Portland. Like I know it's only 2 games difference between Portland and San Antonio right now, but I think there's a clear difference in the level of the team and where they are. You could argue that Portland is playing below what we would expect them to, but I don't know that San Antonio can elevate to anything above where they are right now.
But I think
Yeah.
I think it's tough to I think it's tough to judge Portland because of the injuries that they've been dealing with as well. CJ McCollum just coming back from a collapsed lung. You got Dame Lillard still
Which is
out after
crazy,
having
by the way.
surgery.
Collapsed lung. Could you imagine having that?
No, that sounds pretty painful. I would not be rushing
No.
to come back after having a collapsed lung.
Yeah.
But Dame Lillard just had surgery and pretty much just came out and said that he's not rushing back. And he's not. I think I read that he's okay not coming back and playing this year if the Blazers are going to be playing for a draft pick. So it sounds like they have to make a decision over the next couple of days too, with the trade deadline coming, what kind of team they want to be as well. So with Dame not rushing back and kind of the way things have been going, I just don't think this is a good spot for the Blazers to make.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Again, the trade deadline looming February 10th, 9 days away. So there's going to be a lot of movement for some teams over these next 9 days. So we'll keep an eye on it. We'll keep you posted throughout it. So DraftKings has it to make the playoffs/tournament in their rules in the NBA. So I'm guessing that includes the play-in tournament too. So it would be the top 10 teams. So Zeno, I kind of like where you're coming from when it comes to that. So yes, to make the playoffs/tournament. So it would be one of the top 10 teams in the East.
That's
So
DraftKings. Could be different in other books.
it could be, yeah. Make sure to read the fine print on the sports book that you're gambling at. That is DraftKings. So don't quote us on other sports books there. But yeah, we'll keep you posted on some of the movement over some of these teams over the next 9 or so days because I feel like things are going to start getting a little spicy, a little heating up, a little spicy out there. Okay. Let's take it to college basketball. Same sport, different age group, if we will. But I was thinking about that. I'm like, wait, no, because we still have a lot of really young NBA players too. So that doesn't necessarily work. But let's take it to the college floor. Some really good games tonight. I'm really looking forward to number 10 Kansas taking on number 20 Iowa State. Kansas coming off of an 18-point loss to Kentucky that snapped a 5-game win streak. Iowa won their last game by 17 against Missouri. All time, though, Jayhawks 123-50 against Iowa State, and they won the last 5. Zeno, what are you expecting to happen here in this game?
I am expecting that the Cyclones, who are 3-0 against the number as a home dog and 8-2 as a dog overall, and 4-2 against the number against ranked opponents, will be able
pulling out those stats.
We'll be able to cover this number at 4.5. I mean, look, Kansas won the first meeting 62-61. So that speaks to a team that the Kansas Jayhawks can average up to 80 points a game or have been at 80 points a game at points this year. To be held to that kind of number speaks to how good Iowa State's defense is. Number 7 in America in 3-point field goal percentage defense, allowing just 27% from other teams. Plus, Kansas isn't exactly a great spread team this year. 8-12 against the number this season. They're 2-3 as a road favorite and 2-5 in conference, all against the number. So I'm going to back the Cyclones here, getting 4.5.
Yeah, Alex, I'm actually on Zeno's side. I'll tell you in a second. But Alex, you're the only one out of the 3 of us that's taking Kansas laying the points here.
Yeah, I mean, look, it feels like Iowa State's going to be a popular pick today because the last time they played it was a 1-point game. And because of how Kansas just looked over the weekend, right? They just got embarrassed by Kentucky. But I just don't see how Iowa State stays in this game and covers the number. I think this is a great bounce back spot for Kentucky here, or for Kansas. It would definitely be a great spot for Kentucky. But for Kansas, I think this is a good spot for them because of their offense. They have one of the more efficient offenses in the country. They are the better rebounding team. And, this is a team that I don't know. I'm looking at Iowa State and they rank 175th in offensive efficiency and they rely on turnovers and turning defense into offense a lot. And Kansas just isn't a team that turns the ball over a ton. They take pretty good care of the ball. So I just think that, after getting embarrassed over the weekend, this is a team that Bill and Riz roll tonight. And I think that they're going to roll.
Yeah, let me tell you how they're going to cover the spread. It's because their defense right now is excellent defensively. They're ranked 17th in the nation, only allowing 60.5 points per game. And yeah, I know Kansas is phenomenal on offense. They're 16th in the nation on offensive rating. They're scoring about 80.5 points per game. But this is one of those things where the Jayhawks are kind of having trouble finding secondary scoring, right? Behind Agbaji and Braun. And it might be tough going up against a team with an elite defense like Iowa State has. And they're playing at the Hilton Coliseum, which is a challenge for road teams. I kind of give the Cyclones an advantage here, and I like them with the points, plus 4.5. I don't know if I necessarily see them winning the game in this spot, but I like them getting 4.5 here.
No, and I'll add this. I mean, look, Glaze has a point about Iowa State's offense. Isaiah Brockington is their best player. You know, when he has big nights, their offense really seems to click. But go back to that last game against Missouri. They were 10.5-point favorites at home. And I actually laid them in the first half as well in the total game, laying the 6.5. But their offense sputtered in the first half, and they came out and pulled away in the second half. I could almost look at this game, too, guys, as an in-bet live situation where if Kansas jumps out to another lead and I get a number that balloons, Iowa State's defense will get the clamps down at some point in time in this game to get it close enough, what I believe within the 4.5. But just to give me a little cushion, if Kansas jumps out to an early lead and this line balloons up closer to 8, 9, or 10, it's a great in-game spot live to jump on the Cyclones.
Yeah. So two of us on Iowa State and points. Alex laying the points, laying the juice with Kansas. So we'll see how that goes tonight.
He's such a public guy.
I see a lot of rage texts from Alex coming either way. My favorite thing is being on the same game as Alex, but on the opposite side. Actually, even being on the same side as Alex, because I was dying the other day, Alex, last week when we were both on the Panthers and they were down and they were kind of just like not playing very well. And you're like, I'm never betting the Panthers again. And then like 30 minutes later, never doubted my Ice Cats. Let's go Panthers, blah, blah, blah.
This is the new me, new month, new me.
I can see it happening already. Kansas is going to go up by like 8 early, and we'll get the text from Glaze. Told you guys. Iowa State's got nothing.
I definitely don't gloat text. I don't gloat text. And you know what? Sports, they don't control my emotions anymore. I am calm. And
starting today, February 1st? Is this a
February 1st, new month, new slate, new me, you know?
Until tomorrow's Groundhog's Day and he sees his shadow and he goes back to normal.
Is tomorrow actually Groundhog Day?
Yeah, February 2nd is Groundhog's Day.
Oh, fun. Cool. I love it. Speaking of a state that feels like they're always not seeing their shadow because it's gray all year round, and I know because I was born and raised there, is Michigan. Michigan State taking. How did you like that transition, guys? I was trying to be fun, but I feel like I missed the mark a little bit on that one, so it's okay. We'll just move on from it. Michigan State taking on Maryland. This is going to be an exciting game too. The spread right now is at 4. Michigan State coming off of a win against my alma mater, Michigan. Izzo made better halftime adjustments. Terps fell to Indiana in their last game, and Izzo's coming into this game to remind a team how Maryland destroyed them twice last season. I think that Michigan State's going to have a little bit of a chip on their shoulder in this spot. Alex, are you on this game at all, or is it just me and Zeno?
I am not. It's just you guys. I not touch Maryland basketball. Don't do it.
Too personal for him.
No. I'm not a Maryland basketball fan at all. I just they're just one of those teams that is just wildly unpredictable. Would not shock me either. I would not surprise me no matter what the result is tonight. Would not surprise me. So I'm just going to stay away.
Okay, Zeno, I'll let you break it down for me, and then I'll add on because we're on the same side. I like that we're on the same side of both of these games right now.
Yeah, I mean, look, Michigan State is clearly the better team, right? They've got the better offense. They've got the better defense. They are unbeaten this year as a road favorite. So against the number, that is. They're number 10 in America in three-point shooting. So that goes in their back pocket. Maryland, conversely, has been bad against the number all year long. 8-13 overall. And get this, guys, 3-10 at the Comcast Center against the number. They just do not have the chops to keep up with this Michigan State team, who is going to be very focused. As Lauren mentioned, the 2 losses last year. This will be personal for them. You do get a little bit of a pause, Glaze, and I'll give you some credit.
Number's 4. That's sketchy to me because it should not be 4. That's
I did look at that and say, okay, I think this number probably should be about 7. Yeah. So it did give me pause for a minute and look at it, but I have to trust. Go ahead, Lauren.
No, I was going to say pause.
Oh, okay, pause. I have to trust that Izzo's going to have the guys ready. And look, and if Michigan State does what they're supposed to do offensively, Maryland can't keep up. And that's really what this boils down to for me. Maryland's going to have a stellar defensive game and a stellar offensive game to come out and win this thing. I have a hard time believing that Michigan State only wins by a bucket or even 3. I think this is
Mhm.
either a blowout or it's like Maryland wins outright kind of deal. So
Yeah.
I'm either going to back Michigan State or I'd go Terps money line, which I'm not going to do. So here I am. Go Spartans.
I'm either going to bet Michigan laying the points or Terps money line, which I'm not going to do the second. So I'll
Yeah,
definitely bet the first.
exactly.
But yeah, the Terps have a 7-man rotation. Michigan State, they're rolling 9 deep, right? They might not have necessarily a true superstar, but they can beat teams with their depth, with their rebounding. And I think that's going to come into play tonight. Maryland won 2 straight against Rutgers and Illinois, but that momentum's gone. Sparty all the way, baby. Let's go. Let's go.
The only thing I want to add here, Zeno is trusting the kids. Lauren, what have I said from the
Don't
beginning
trust
of
kids.
this
I
season?
know. I
What
know.
have I said from the beginning of the
Never
season?
trust the
Zeno's whole
kids.
thing is like, I gotta trust Izzo's gonna have the guys ready. It has nothing to do with Izzo. It's Michigan State looking and they're just like, oh, we're going to Maryland. All right. Like, how up can they be for how? I mean, I don't know. I just can see Michigan
They can
State
be
not getting
up.
up for this
If
game.
it's
I
up,
can see
then
them
it's
not getting
up.
up for
Then
this
it's
game.
up. Then
That's
it's
why I'm
up.
staying away. But trusting the kids. That's you. That's not me. I don't trust the kids.
But you are trusting the kids because you're betting the Alabama Auburn game right now. The rivals clashing on a Tuesday evening. Bama coming
Ah,
off of a big upset against Baylor. They're 14-7 on the season now. Auburn, they're having a dream season, 20-1, and they covered as a 9.5 favorite against Oklahoma, Alex. But you're not betting a side in this one, so you're not necessarily trusting the kids. But kind
I'm
of.
just I'm going with the over. The over in this one. I'm trusting
Which
scoring.
he's usually not an over guy too. So this is a
Right. So when
this is
I'm
an
on an
advantage.
over, that should tell you something. It's 154 and a half. It was 155 about an hour ago.
Mhm.
But these are just two offenses that just score at a ridiculous pace and play at a ridiculous pace. They both average
Yeah.
74 possessions per game. You know, Auburn is a team that scored 80 points in 7 of the last 8 games, and this Bama team averaging 81.4 points per game, the second highest scoring offense in the S.
Yeah. Great,
in the
Alex.
SEC. He's right. This is an Alabama team that scores a ton. And look, and when you work the math of this here for me, Lauren, it's very simple because I'll give you a little preview. Did we lose you, Glaze? You
You
back?
were freezing, Alex. You're
You were
back,
freezing,
baby.
man. You were
He's
back.
back and
I don't
better
know
than ever.
I gotta pay my internet bill or something. Something's going on here. But
I mean, you fumbled. I just picked it up and kept running with it.
you guys get what I'm saying. But both of these teams
Yes.
are top 50 in offensive efficiency. They play at a crazy pace. I think that we're gonna see points tonight. That's my take.
You
I just
froze
wanna
though. You were
get
like
it out,
this.
just
You
get
were
it
like
out quick.
very into it, and your face was like,
Oh no, I didn't have a good freeze face.
No,
oh, not a good freeze face. You hate to
not a
see
good
it. You
freeze
really
face.
do. You really do. Zeno, another game I want to talk about though. I'm going to send this over to you because we do have a question in the chat about it. Providence taking on St. John. Rui and Patrick in the chat want to know why Providence is getting points against St. John's, but Providence has a chance right now to extend a 5-game winning streak. They've won the last 4 though by only single digits.
They are getting points here because St. John's is an offense that can score, and they can
Mhm.
score a lot. The other thing is their defense stinks. So when you get the 15th ranked team in America catching points, 3.5 of them on the road, when they're 8-1 straight up in conference, it automatically should raise a flag to you that something is going on here.
Yeah.
Look, Providence is 6-0 against the number as an underdog and 4-0 as a road dog this year. They have one of the better defenses in America, top 50, but they also only allow 31% from three-point land and 40% from the field. St. John's 4-7 against the spread as a home favorite here. I'm going to back the Friars getting the 3.5 points. And again, some of that is that Providence is on the road. Some of it is the fact that they have played so well in conference. The expectation maybe there that eventually they're going to drop another conference game. They lost that first game to Marquette and have been on a run of 8 in a row ever since. And not only that, as I mentioned, St. John's can get out there and score. So they're favoring the home team here in a primetime game at 9 o'clock in Queens, New York, rather, I should say so. But still, Providence is too good defensively. Ed Cooley is a fantastic coach. This team continues to be undervalued. And I ought to tell you something, that the 15th ranked team in America has been an underdog 6 times this year. We're not talking about the Big 12 they play in. This is the Big East where it's only Villanova, Xavier, and 1 or 2 other schools that are ranked. Seton Hall was ranked for a hot minute there, but it's not a far slate of ranked teams that they're playing. So when they are 6-0 as an underdog, it tells you that they are undervalued because they've been a dog way too much.
Dogs. Woo. You like to see it. That's going to be A lot of good games on the college basketball slate right now. I'm really looking forward to it tonight. I'm looking forward to Alex Rage texts.
Now I have to text
Oh
you
no,
guys.
sorry. New
Now I
day,
have
new
to text you
you.
guys.
New day, new you. New month,
I'm
February.
just gonna send a text when we get all zeros, and I'm just gonna say good game. GG's, guys. That's it.
GG's. Not even good game, just GG's. GG's. Let's take it to the ice because there's quite a few games tonight that are going on. Alex, I'll go to you first. You got the Stars Flames over 5.5, which is kind of a low number.
Yeah, anytime I see a 5.5, my antennas kind of perk up a little bit. So I'm going with the over here. And the reason why that number is probably 5.5 is because the Flames have struggled over the past couple of games to score. I mean, they've been one of the better offenses this season, but they've struggled over the past couple of games. But they still scored 15 goals in their last 4 games. And this is a Stars team that just gave up 5 goals to the Caps the other night, and 5 goals to the Blues. So the Stars, they have a good offense. The Flames have a good offense. I think these defenses, we'll see. I mean, Dallas has been great at home. I think there's a lean for me on the Stars at home. But I think my play for this game would be the over 5.5, just because both these teams know how to find the back of the net.
Yeah, I actually really like that. I think I'm going to tail that. Another team that knows how to find the back of the net, guys, the Colorado Avalanche. Let me break this down for you. They're taking on the Arizona Coyotes tonight at home. They have won 18 straight home games. They haven't lost at home since November. That is wild, like literally so wild. And I was looking at this spread because I really wanted to be able to bet this game, but there's no value obviously with the money line. I think it's like minus 650 right now, and even the 3-way money line is like minus 360. So there's no value there, but I kind of like the Avs against the number. It's 2.5, minus 112. And I'm feeling really good about it. Arizona has lost 5 straight games. They're 1-4 against the number in their last 5. Colorado, hottest team in the NHL right now, 10 straight wins, 15-0-1 in January, 6-4 against the number in the last 10 games. They've won 18 straight games at home, like I was saying, and they've won 4 games, the last 4 games between them and the Arizona Coyotes. They're 8-1-1 in the last 10 against the Coyotes. When you have a team as hot as the Colorado Avalanche are, taking on a struggling Arizona Coyotes team, there's no reason to not go with the Avs. You have to go with them. Last time they met, I know that the Avs pulled out a win in a shootout. It was a close game. I don't think this game is going to be close at all. Colorado won 3 of the last 4 games against Arizona by more than a goal. They covered the spread in 5 of the last 7 games as a favorite against them. There's no reason to believe that they won't dominate against Arizona tonight at home. Make it 19, guys. 19 straight home wins for the Avs tonight, and they're going to do it by 3 goals or more. They are rolling right now. I like the Avs in this spot. Lock it in, baby. Zeno, you're on the Rangers tonight at MSG, one of the most iconic arenas in all of the land.
Yeah, it's kind of sickens me. I'm betting against my team, St. John's, and betting for a team that I grew up hating, the New York Rangers, as an Islander fan here. But I'm going to take the Rangers plus 1.5. Look, it's a steep price at minus 190. But when I first saw this game, I was looking initially at the over at 6.5. Both the previous meetings went over the number between these two teams. The problem is the Rangers have had a little trouble scoring as of late. They've been on the lower end of a 6-goal total for the past 5 games. As well, you get Bobrovsky and Shesterkin in net. Shesterkin.
Say that 5 times fast.
He's got a 2.1 goals against average, and that alone, combined with the Rangers kind of being a little bit slow on the offensive end as of late, due to the travel and everything else that they've been, I had to stay away from the over. But I do like the fact that, again, both these first 2 games were 1-goal games between these two teams. And I'm getting a Rangers team right now that gets a Florida team on a back-to-back that's traveling. So I get the Rangers back at the Garden at home. A little sprinkle on the money line at plus 130 here for the Rangers, too. It's just hard for me to back them all the way on the money line heavily just because Florida is such a good team. They're so talented, and they can score at will on pretty much anybody in this league. But I'll take the 1.5 here with the Rangers and the money line sprinkle.
Yeah, I'm actually going to talk about that for my best bet of the day. But before we get into that, Alex, what do we got for our Pickswise 3-star play of the day?
Yeah, we got a couple 3-star plays on the site right now. I'm going to go with who am I going to go with today? Let's go with Matt. Matt is giving out the Texas A&M Tennessee Matt Marker, excuse me. Texas A&M at Tennessee, the under 131.5. That is a 3-star play on the Pickswise website. The under 131.5 in Texas A&M at Tennessee, courtesy of Matt Marquardt.
Thank you, Matty Ice. There's quite a few 3-star plays of the day on the Pickswise website, so make sure to go to pickswise.com. Check it out. You don't want to miss out on good opportunities to win some quiche. Speaking of winning quiche, our best bets of the day. Alex, you go first. You taking Kansas?
Yeah, I'm going back with the pick we gave out earlier in the show, Kansas. I'm going to lay the points with the Jayhawks here. This just feels like a great spot for Kansas to bounce back after getting embarrassed over the weekend by Kentucky. Iowa State, great defensive team, but Kansas has the better offense, the more efficient offense, and they're the better rebounding team. I think that they're going to come out, play sharp. Bill Self is going to have his guys ready. Iowa State ranks 175th in offensive efficiency, and I think that it's not a good recipe for success if you're playing up against better team, which I believe Kansas is today.
Yeah, and Zeno, you're taking a little piece of Alex's playbook, and you're betting the Abba.
I'm betting Abba, all the way.
Oh my God, words are hard sometimes. You're betting the Abba over.
The Abba over. Yeah, it sounds like, me from New York. Hey, take the Abba and over. Okay, so one, Glaze, it's going to be fun when you get your best bet pick wrong, your play of the day wrong, and this is the one you should have picked with us. But I had this game in my sights, and then when I saw Glaze put it on, I'm like, oh, that's all I needed was a little Glaze push to make it my play of the day. As you talked about before, these are two of the highest scoring offenses in America. Alabama has a bad defense, and that is enough for me to say that Auburn can get to 80, which they've done in 7 of the last 8 games. Alabama, on their own, has gotten to 70 in 10 consecutive. That gets me to 150. So all I need is another bucket or two from either team, and that gets me over my 154.5 here. This is a spot where Alabama will have to constantly chase and push the pace, and Auburn welcomes that sort of game. Give me the over 154 between Alabama and Auburn as my play of the day.
I like it. I'm kind of taking a piece out of, we're all kind of taking a piece out of each other's playbook. I'm taking a piece out of yours, and I'm betting the Panthers-Rangers game. I know you're sprinkling the Rangers money line. I actually like the Rangers money line. I have a full unit on it at plus 130. Panthers are playing the second game of a back-to-back. They played in Columbus last night. They have to travel after the game, and then they're playing again tonight against a Rangers team that's pretty good right now. They had a narrow win, though, at home against the Kraken in the last game. Panthers have won 4 straight. They beat Columbus last night. Mason Marchment was wild for the Ice Cats. Tied a franchise record for the most points in a single game. He had 2 goals, 4 assists yesterday. Pretty crazy. The Rangers 1-1 so far on this 5-game homestand that they're on, and they have 6 wins in their last 7 home games. They've already beaten the Ice Cats on 4 of the last 7 overall occasions. 2 of 3 of those defeats out of those last 7 games have only been by a single goal. The other one was by a shootout. So regardless of who wins this game, it's definitely going to be really close. 3 of the last 4 at MSG, the home team has won, which is the Rangers. And I think because Spencer Knight is going to be starting in net for Florida, he allowed 4 goals on 18 shots against the Rangers back in November. I don't trust Spencer Knight as much as I trust Bobrovsky. I like the Rangers in this spot. A little bit of rested legs. The Panthers playing on a little bit of tired legs. Rangers money line at home, MSG plus 130. Lock it in, baby.
Our Ice Cats, a little sketchy when they're the road Cats. A little sketchy this season as the road.
We like the home Cats, but the road Cats, it's a little sketchy.
Little sketch. Yeah.
That's it for us today, guys. Also, really quick, first thoughts. I don't want a whole sentence. I want one word. Who do you think right now, Zeno, you first, is going to win the Super Bowl? First reaction, go.
Bengals.
Alex?
Burr.
Joe? Brr. Oh, krr. And on that, we're going to end it today. That's it for us. Find us on the Pickswise YouTube channel. Go to pickswise.com. Follow us on Twitter. Alex Glaze, Mark Zeno. We're definitely going to be breaking down NFL over the next couple of weeks. We'll have a lot of insight on props, our best bets, et cetera, et cetera. But best of luck tonight, guys, on some B-ball, NBA, college basketball, NHL. We'll see you tomorrow. Let's get it. Let's bet it.